So I'm going to tompreet.com. And I forgot what it was. It was like Heroku something, Heroku Wine API. I'm going to go ahead and delete this right here. So delete this repository. Delete, it's probably ask my first password. And now I'm going to actually go to Heroku. There we go. So here's that wine API. If I go to deploy, I'm going to disconnect the GitHub. All right. So what I'm going to do is first go to my GitHub, Tom Preet, and create a new GitHub repository. Let's see. So repos. Click new. I'll just say like Heroku deploy a repo, but this should probably be named like something to your actual app. But I'm just going to call it that. I'm going to create that repository, and then I'm going to change this repo to, whoop, is that the right one? Git remote add there. Uh-oh, fatal origin already exists.
You're gonna have to do git remote remove origin and then do that, redo that command again.
All right. So, oh, cool. And then there we go. Git branch main. And then all right, so I've got that pushed to there. So I've got this going. Now what I need to do is go to my Heroku app, my November wine API, and go to the deploy tab. So and click GitHub connect to GitHub, and then I'm going to put the repo that I want to connect this Heroku app to. Click search. It's going to ask. So it searched for it, found it. I'm going to connect to it and choose a branch to deploy. I'm going to do the main branch because there isn't another branch on this repo. Like, yeah, you might have like a testing branch, a main branch, and just all your other like feature branches. So I'm just going to enable automatic deploys. There we go. So now if I go ahead and change something, so like adding a comment here in the forms file, whatever. If I git add, git status, git commit, just say added a comment, git push origin main, and click run there. So it's gonna come over here. And if I refresh this, I updated that 11 seconds ago. And then if I go to activity, it's automatically, it's building that and it's gonna deploy that.
Tom, can I say something real quick about this? So this is where branching becomes really important if you're working with the workflow that Tom just showed you, where you're linking Heroku to a GitHub repo on your main or master branch. Because if you do a commit like he just did on line 5, and that happens to have something broke, like you broke something right there, and you commit and push that, Heroku does not care. It's going to pull, it's going to see that there is a new change that you committed. It's going to pull what you just pushed up, and it's going to try to run it. It's not going to wait to run. It's just going to run it. And if it fails, it fails. So you might end up with like a 500 error. So it's always good to like branch into the testing environment, make sure it still runs, and then merge that to master when it's running. So make sure that master or main branch is always in a working state, because Heroku does not care. It's going to run whatever you pushed. So if it's broken, if you push a broken state of your code, Heroku is going to run a broken state of your code. So it's always good to make sure that master or main is always in a good working state before you commit or merge into master. So hopefully that all makes sense to anybody that has done branching before, but that's just, if you do it that way, just make sure that your code works prior to doing it, because otherwise Heroku will run a broken thing and you'll have to commit again. As soon as you do another commit with an update, it will pull your code down and relaunch your container that runs.
So ideally, so I just switched branch. It's just called some feature branch. I come onto my feature branch and I'm gonna make a change. So I'm gonna make some changes. I don't know where I should make a change. Maybe I want the wine right here, and the wine name, and maybe like the self dot price and self dot varietal. So I made change that, say that's a feature. I'm gonna git add that, get status. So I changed the forms, I got rid of that commit or that comment, and I changed that right here. And so I can get commit, added dunder string in models, something like that. All right, and I can get push origin instead of main. I'm going to push to this some feature branch. There we go. Cool. So I just pushed that feature branch. And now if I refresh that, so I just changed that. But now if I come over here, it's not deploying right now because the main branch hasn't changed. So ideally, whoever's gonna come in here, they're gonna review my PR, they're gonna switch to this branch, they're gonna test it on their local machine to make sure everything still works. And then once it's all safe to go, like once it's been tested that we know that the app is not broken yet, now it's actually safe to actually merge into main. So I'm gonna say like, I'm gonna create a pull request and then say, all right, it's able to merge, but maybe I want someone to review it. So maybe I have to say like, have like Chris comes in here, he reviews my code, he brings down this some feature branch onto his local machine, he tests it, he's like, all right, it works on my local machine, it's good to go. So he comes into here, he approves it, and then he merges this pull request into the main. So if I merge pull request, so this is going to merge this some feature branch into the main branch. I confirm that. Pull request successfully merged and closed. And now it should, it's starting to build in progress again. So that's generally how that's a more accurate description of how that process should work. But you might have a main branch, a test branch, which is essentially a direct clone or direct copy of the main branch. And that's where you kind of push all your code to just to make sure it all works. And once all that's good, you can merge it into the main branch. But yeah. Does that make sense? Was that helpful? And then hopefully if I test this, so it's been built successful, I open up the app, not found. Hopefully everything still works. There we go. All right. Does anybody have any questions about that process?